a mitzvah. The bracha has to be said in the language of the Gemara, before the mitzvah is done. But there are a few exceptions. One exception is a Shabbos candles. Very good. Oh. We'll get to Shabbos candles later. Very good. Because when you make the bracha, it's like you're accepting Shabbos, and then you can't light the candles because you already accepted Shabbos. Another example is a person who's converting to Judaism.
A woman, though, right?
Well,
she does that first and then makes the bracha afterwards.
Men, but
and then make it first.
There's no woman.
Unless I'm doing it wrong.
A man also he says a bracha after he lights.
It's better to.
You make the bracha afterwards. So
even if you're not accepting Shabbos at the time.
You're not accepting Shabbos, still say the bracha afterwards. Come, sure.
Okay.
No. Tilt Yadayim. Laws of washing your hands. Yeah.
Oh, that's the other.
Okay.
Oh, the washing the hands. Say it afterwards.
All right.
I
So
just gave it away.
A convert converting to Judaism also cannot say the bracha for immersing himself in the mikveh because he's not yet Jewish to have this mitzvah. And so too, regarding washing our hands afterwards. So too, in regards to washing our hands.
Washing the hand.
When you wash your hands, the halacha is that you always make the bracha after you wash your hands. Just like a convert makes a bracha after he immerses in the mikveh, so to make a bracha after you wash your hands. Why? Because sometimes your hands are dirty, you just were in the bathroom, you can't make a bracha. And therefore, the Chum established always that you should always say the bracha after you wash your hands. So usually the bracha is before you're doing a mitzvah, but with Until Tadayim, you say the bracha after doing the mitzvah. However, when you wash for bread, for example, you're supposed to say the bracha before you dry your hands. Why? So Tosfos says, and over there in Pesachim and Dav Zayin and Beis, Tosfos says because there is a halachic obligation to dry your hands before you eat. The Gemara says if you don't dry your hands before you eat, it's as if you're eating impure bread. It's not considered also polite, not considered refined to eat with your hands wet, and therefore it's still part of the mitzvah. So you can't make the bracha before you wash because your hands may not be clean. And there's another reason why you should say the bracha after you wash. And the other reason is because it's also part of the mitzvah. You're doing another part of the mitzvah, you're drying your hands. That's what Tosfos says. And that only applies, it would seem, to washing for bread. When you wash in the morning, since you're not eating bread, you wash before davening, it would seem there that you don't have to make the bracha before you dry your hands. And indeed, our custom is, as it says in Sefer Menhagim, that our custom is in the morning when you wash your hands, our custom is that we wash our hands in the morning, we make the bracha after our hands are dry already. They're dry already, and they're raised up to the same level as our payas with our fingers spread out. That's the bracha in the morning. It's not before you dry your hands, it's specifically after your hands are dried. Why? I mean, it would seem that, want to answer this better or later?
You can answer whatever you want.
Okay, I'll do later. So,
what do you say?
In the morning, it's different than when you wash for bread. When you wash for bread, you make the bracha before you dry your hands. Mm-hmm. And because you want to make the bracha before drying your hands is part of the mitzvah. But in the morning, you make the bracha after you dry your hands. Now, in addition to...
By the way,
yeah.
just by the way.
Yeah.
Doctor, he made research, very distinguished doctor. He made the research, Dr. Bibi. And he found out that if you wash your hands with no detergent, only netilat yadayim, if you wash them, but you dry it very well, yeah, there is no bacteria and no...
Very interesting.
I told you?
No, you didn't have very interesting, but the Chidah says something similar. The Chidah says that's why you're supposed to dry your hands before you say the bracha in the morning. Why? It would seem that you don't have to specifically make the bracha before you dry your hands, because no mitzvah to dry your hands, so you're not eating bread. But you could, it would seem, make the bracha before drying your hands. But the Chidah says the reason according to Kabbalah is the ruach ra, the impure spirit, doesn't leave your hand until you dry your hands. And therefore he says make the bracha after you dry your hands to remove the ruach ra. That's what the Chidah writes. But
This is for the morning.
this is for the morning. Before you eat by bread, the Alter Rebbe writes in the Siddur that not only should we make the bracha before we dry our hands, the Alter Rebbe says when you wash your hands, the sixth time you pour the water on your hands, you're supposed to take some of the water and rub your hands with that water. So catch a little bit of water in the sixth time you wash and rub your hands together. The Alter Rebbe says Latari is for extra purity. So that's also part of the mitzvah, and that's when you should say the bracha. You should say the bracha not only before you dry your hands, but even before you rub your hands. Before you rub your hands together, say the bracha then. Catch the water in your hand, make the bracha this time, and then rub your hands together. That's what Alter Rebbe writes in the Siddur.
Oh, and what about a coin for Dukanim?
A kohen doesn't say a bracha. A kohen doesn't say a bracha.
Oh,
Okay, so when it seems, so you make the bracha after you dry your hands, fine. But how much after you dry your hands should you say the bracha? So it would seem you say the bracha right away. However, the Alter Rebbe writes in the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Vav Siv Beis, he says some people have a custom that they only say the bracha when they go to shul. They say the bracha al Netilas Yadayim for the morning, not after the hands are dried immediately, but they wait till they go to shul. Why? Because since the whole point of washing our hands in the morning is a preparation for davening, and so make the bracha together with all the other blessings in the shul. When you say all the other blessings, the morning blessings in the shul, say also the bracha al Netilas Yadayim in the shul as well. Our custom is, parenthetically, we say brachas, the morning blessings in the house. So it's all the morning blessings we say at home. But he mentioned, the Alter says in Shulchan Aruch, halachically, there is a reason to say the bracha al Netilas Yadayim in the shul and to delay. So you're interrupting. You're washing your hands at home, but you're not saying the bracha al Netilas Yadayim until you get to shul to say all the brachas together. So you're allowed to make an interruption between washing your hands and saying the bracha. You made the bracha. You wash at home, and you don't say the bracha al Netilas Yadayim until you get to shul. And that's actually the way. I mean, I don't know how it is in how you were brought up, but when I was brought up in school, the bracha, when they say morning blessings with the teacher, the first bracha we say is al Netilas Yadayim. Even though after we washed our hands in the morning, we had breakfast, and we went on the bus, and we spoke, and everything, we had a major delay, major interruption. Nevertheless, we say the bracha al Netilas Yadayim in school together with all the other blessings. So the Alter Rebbe though makes a caveat. He says that you should not delay unnecessarily the bracha al Netilas Yadayim. For example, let's say it's Elul, and you're saying slichas and shul. So there'll be a whole interruption before the beginning of davening and washing your hands. The Alter Rebbe says in that situation, better make the bracha at home if you're not planning to daven when you get to shul, because you have to want to say Tehillim, or you're not planning to daven when you get to shul because, as Arya knows, he's coming for 10-15 minutes. It's going to end up being the 8:15. So if you're not planning to daven as soon as you get to shul, if you're not planning to daven then the Alter Rebbe says make the bracha at home right after you wash. So really, it's okay to take an interruption. You're allowed to make the bracha in the shul. However, if when you get to shul, there's going to be something else happening, like slichas or tilim, then better say the bracha al Netilas Yadayim at home. Okay. So the question was this: if it's supposed to be done as soon as possible, then why delay it? And the answer is that you're allowed to say it after. You're allowed to delay it, but you're not delay it unnecessarily. But how long can you say the bracha for? Let's say you didn't say the bracha at home. You went to shul. How long do you have to say this bracha? How long can you say the bracha? At what time point can you stop? Are you no longer able to say the bracha?
1 hour.
Why 1 hour?
I don't know.
What's an hour? Is an hour 60 minutes? Is an hour shazmani? How do you define an hour? Yeah, Rebbe.
In the middle of slichos.
The middle of slichas?
Yes.
You want to guess? Okay, you could guess. Or there's a similar halacha you mentioned right away before regarding Shabbos candles. Let's say a woman forgets to make the bracha on Shabbos candles. How long does she have to say the bracha on Shabbos candles? The custom is that when a woman lights Shabbos candles, she covers her eyes because she doesn't want to benefit from the Shabbos candles until she says the bracha. So, since the mitzvah of the Shabbos candles has to do with the enjoyment of Shabbos, so she's able to if she didn't if she covers her eyes, she's able to say the bracha later when she comes. Let's say she goes away, she doesn't say the bracha, she comes back later. So since the main point of lighting the Shabbos candles is to enjoy the light of the Shabbos candles, therefore she's able to say the bracha later on when she comes home and sees the candles. She didn't see it before, she could make the bracha later on.
So as long as they're burning.
As long as they're burning, she comes home, she didn't say the bracha. The Alter Rebbe uses the expression, "Eiz gvul yesh b'davar." What time limit does it say? It doesn't say a time limit. So if she forgot to say the bracha, she comes back home and she can say the bracha. Now, similar thing, when we wash our hands for hamotzi in the morning, we wash hands for breakfast. We say you're supposed to say the bracha before you dry your hands. And the Alter Rebbe says you're even supposed to say the bracha before you do shifshuk, before you rub your hands. But let's say you forgot to say the bracha on the Sodayim before you rub your hands. You forgot to say the bracha on the Sodayim before you rub your hands. And now you're in the middle of eating breakfast. Can you say out the Sodayim still or not?
Yes.
And the answer is it's similar to the Shabbos candles. Since the Shabbos candles, the bracha could be said until you enjoy the Shabbos candles. And so too, the point of washing your hands for bread is what? To eat the bread. Once you start eating the bread, you can no longer say a bracha. Once you said amot, you eat the bread, you cannot say a bracha. You can't say bracha this time anymore. And a similar thing is also for davening. Since the point of washing your hands in the morning is for what? Is to prepare for davening. Therefore, once you start davening, you can't say the bracha anymore. So if you're supposed to say the bracha in the morning after you dry your hands, but you could still say the bracha until you begin davening. And once you start davening, then you can no longer say the bracha on this time. So to recap, for the bracha of washing for bread, you can say the bracha until you start eating, till hametzi. You can still say on this time. And for the morning, the preferred time to say bracha this time is after your hands are dry. And you could, if you forgot to say the bracha once your hands were dry, you could still say it when you go to shul, as long as you have not begun davening. Once you've begun davening, then since the purpose of washing hands is to prepare for davening, you can no longer say the bracha. Any questions?
During davening, you could say bracha if you're still davening.
No, once you start davening.
When I get up in the morning, anyway, I was in the bathroom. When I come out, I do netilah like a bathroom. I dry my hand without bracha. After I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I dry my hand, and then I say the shachar.
When you get up in the morning, the best thing to do is, as the Zohar says, is to have water next to your bed, and to wash before you move, without a bracha. After you get dressed and you brush your teeth, you go to your kitchen, and then you wash again, and then you say the bracha in the kitchen.
After you dry your hand.
You got dressed, you brushed your teeth,
Okay.
and then you go down to the kitchen, and your hands are already dry, you wash your hands again, and then you say the bracha then by the kitchen.
Okay.
That's the best way to do it. You wash by your bed, you're not supposed to walk, the Zohar says, before you wash 6 times, and then when you go down to you're not supposed to touch, it says Shulchan Aruch, you're not supposed to touch any parts of your body, which are usually closed, any openings of the body shouldn't be touched until you wash your hands, you're not supposed to do anything until you wash your hands, you're not supposed to walk. So, but you can't say the bracha, you haven't washed your mouth out, you have to go to the bathroom, you can't say bring your brachas now. So once you get dressed and you go down to the kitchen, then you wash your hands again and say the bracha.
Before or after you wash your hands?
After you wash your hands.
Before you dry your hands? After you dry your hands?
After the morning we said you have to dry your hands, like the Chidah says, right? That there's a special advantage of saying the bracha after you dry your hands, because the ruach rokas, the impure spirit, is removed only when your hands are dry. And that's the purpose of washing your hands in the morning, to take away the impure spirit. Therefore, make the bracha specifically after your hands are dry. But for washing for bread, make the bracha before you do shifsh, before you rub your hands together. All right, we'll stop here. Chazak u'baruch.